Hello, hello, hello. So I had a request from a client who was like, could you do a video on, not towels, on hamstring stretching? Absolutely, love to. And there are a number of different ways that you can stretch the back of your leg. And the biggest thing for the back of the leg is sometimes the front is also tight. This won't loosen. If this is too tight, so we also need to make sure we stretch the quad as well as the back. If you don't have a band, have a towel, and I'll explain that to you when we're on the floor. For now, boom. So the simplest way to stretch your hamstring is, well, a simple way. Take one leg forward, bend the back leg a little, hands on your hips. You need to take hold of your bum and lift your bum up in the air. The more you lift the butt cheek of the leg that's in front, the more you get the stretch. What we often see is people do this and do this. There's no movement here, so you need to take your tail and lift it. And that's where the stretch is. Here, if you needed to hold on to something, you lift the foot up, point it down. Lift it up, take it down. When you lift it, pushing the heel down and lifting your sit bone up, there's actually a stronger pull. Now, as you do that as well, I would drop your, you could drop your head. It's a little bit harder on the balance. So if you need to hold something, do. But now I'm going to show you this. Once you're here, look at the dirty feet, turn the foot out, center, in, center, out. And notice what happens when you turn the foot from being straight forward to open. It's like, wow. Very different feeling for a lot of us in the back of the leg. So you go one more. And you'll see I'm not very low, but I have the ability to touch the floor. There's a lot of it's from my spine, but I still need to tip my hips. So if you were balance challenged, no problem, that's bother and problem. Step the other leg forward, bend the leg that's at the back, hold on to the chair or even rest. Because if I lift my tail and sit back, and again, pick this up and do that, I'm still getting the stretch, even though I can touch the floor. So some of you might even get the stretch here. And it's better to be up here than to be here, thinking you're leaning forward when you're not arching your back. Lift your belly up just a little bit. Okay, if you need more, I could bend my right leg here and I get a little bit more. Let's hold up, spiral it out, my little toe aiming to the floor. Good Lord. Center, a little bit of a spiral in, a spiral out. Have a look at your leg and check the whole leg is turning, because that means you're turning at the hip joint. And it just changes the stretch on the number of different hamstrings that we have. Could be some other bits and pieces, of course, stretching in there too. Just because it's tense, don't let yourself go back to this and go, but I don't feel anything. No, because you suddenly let your tail drop. So one more time with the butt up in the air, and center. Now, a chair is pretty handy for this one, or a tabletop. Let's have the feet hip or shoulder width apart. Move your back. Hips are a little bit less often than the shoulders, but I'm going to ask you to try both. Hands on top of the chair or counter. Lean away from the chair, belly on. Bend the knees a little and keep sending the butt back away from your hands as your hands are pushing forward. Now that's a stretch for me already. Bend, straighten. If you needed more, I wouldn't walk back more. I would hold something lower, because now the fold here is greater. I have to check my back. My back gets, see, I can feel now, I know my back is a bit rounded. So this is too low for the hinge of my hips. So I'm going to come back up here. Now I can get a stretch through my back as well. Bend, straighten, lift up, bend one knee, The other, that will wiggle you and change it from one leg to the other. Focus on breathing slow and calm. And then you're also going to do this move with a turnout. Ooh. Forward and back a little bit. Really good for this area of the body too. Find the stretch, bend and straighten here. Little bit of a wiggle. 4. I like the turnout. 3, 2, and 1. Center. Relax. Ooh, stand up. Just roll your shoulders, especially if you were there, because there's a lot of effort actually in the upper body. Quad stretch. Hold on to something. Take hold of the foot. Now your goal is for this knee to be in line with that knee, core on, and maybe a little bit back to open up the hip. You could open like this. This is not allowed. The butt needs to stay dropping down. If you have a chair, you could actually have the knee on the chair and then just be moving here instead. So I'm actually, it's hard to do it this way round. I'm actually here and leaning forward. Okay, this is easier because now my right leg is immediately forward of my left. I got to, tuck the tail down. Now, if I turned the chair, that would be sensible, wouldn't it? Oh. So here, this leg is forward, pull in, pull, and even just pulling my foot to my butt makes this happen in the front of my leg. So we're going to do 2 more here. That's actually super nice. Obviously, if you're at work, really easy to release the thigh. Change it over. Take your pick if you like this one. I'm doing standing ones because a few of you probably can't get onto the floor as easily, or you want to do it at work. So in through the belly, foot to butt. The knee may not be comfortable on the chair, so that's okay. Just put a towel there, pillow, something. I'm almost pulling my foot up a little bit. So I'm not crazy heavy on my knee, but I'm pushing forward here, tucking under. I know some things recommend squeezing your butt. You're welcome to try it. For me, I don't like it. I would rather push my hip forward. So I push this bone forward and pull in there. Last one. Ooh, and lovely. Shake it out. Now we're going to go back to that stretch. I'm going to put my hands down here this time. Leaning back. And I don't know if you can see a difference, but I can feel the difference now with my hands being here and my back in my lower back is a little bit flatter than it was when I started. And I can rock forward and back there. Because if the front of the leg is tight, it doesn't enable you to tip. And it's the tip that actually helps the hamstring. It really is. So sometimes our egos get the better of all of us and say, no, I want to touch the floor, I want to get down there, but not in necessarily the right way. To find the change in angle here, which, as I say, means sometimes this guy needs to loosen. Okay, walk it in, bend the knees, stand up. So if you're practicing touching the floor as your benchmark, feel free to tip over at your hips now. I can tip more than touch, rather than just using my back flexibility. And I am a lot easier because also I loosened up my thighs as well as the back of the legs. From here, we come into the floor. Now, if you're using a towel, I would suggest go one corner to the other corner because towels have a stretch, which is really cool. We're going to lie down and do the standard hamstring stretch here. So please put it around the ball of your foot. Lie down, pillow if you need it here. This leg could be bent, it's a bit kinder. Now I would pull with the towel a lot, push the heel up. It would be better for your leg to be here and straight than here with a bend. Because your hamstring comes behind the knee and then behind the calf or at the calf, and the two muscles link together. So if your knee is bent, you lose out on the stretch here. And it's only, again, our ego goes, but I want my leg here. Now my butt's up. This is not dropping my sit bone down. So anchor your butt, fold in the hip, and be content with feeling the stretch if you're here. The more I pull my toes this way and push my heel away, and then push my butt bone that way, again, I get more. Now from here, we can take the leg across, a little bit open, a little bit across. And I'm going, when I go left leg to the right, I pull more on the left side of the towel. Both hands, left side. Right side, not bad. Left side, ooh, super good. You can please try both. Big thing is keep this left waistline long. The minute I lift my leg up too high, that shortens. So I lose the centering, the levelness of the pelvis. One more go. Come to center. Change the leg over. I need to wash this towel because my feet are a little bit dirty. As usual, my husband was watching this. He'd be like, yeah. Okay, so straight leg. Push the heel up. A little bit in and out. A little bit across and open. Keep reaching the right sitting bone or whichever leg you've got away from you. Pulling the towel back. As you go across, oof, right hand pulls. Good Lord. And it's really interesting how when you just change one little thing like this, something else changes. Because for me, if you only ever stick with one straight line stretch, you obviously only stretch your body in that way. And there's so many different ways. And just by doing this, or moving my foot around, there's a lot of different tissues that all work with it. So please, 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 please feel free. We're going to have one more go here. And then hold with that towel, push into it, see if it helps you come up. Now one other thing that often we think is hamstring tightness is the inner thigh. We're going to stand again. Use the chair if you need to. Super simple, wide legs, feet a little bit turned out, bend into one. I can rest on it. And again, drop over that hip and push back. You might get a stretch high in the groin or even down behind this knee. If I do this, if you can see my foot turns out, goes straight, goes down, moves here. When I move around, where do I want it? There. Now I get, all right, that's where I need the stretch to be, okay? So if you could move a little bit, not but gentle. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. That's fine. Wiggle about a little bit. Ooh, that's nice. That's super nice. Because this part is also muscles attaching up on the sitting bone and the pubic area, which can affect the hamstring. We go to the other side. Again, butt goes back. Try a different foot position. You might need the chair in front of you because you can't get this low. Some of you might get lower than me. Please feel free to. I'm not the limit. Honestly, I'm just enjoying where I'm at in this. I don't need to go lower. I don't want to go lower. I'm going to try to make sure that hip pushes back. Ooh, gotcha. And if I move there, ooh, it feels, ooh, and there, ooh, I sound like a monkey. That's really nice when I add a little twist. Ooh, then come back up, bump, bump, bump. Feet together. Let's see what the fold is like again. So inside your hips, fold at your hips, tip over. Yep, my back is still flat, flat. Ooh, pretty good. Flat, I got a good hinge. Wow, I actually do have a pretty good hinge then. Yay. And I just want to say one thing. I want to say many things. Touching the floor, if you can just touch the floor here, this is enough. The whole flatness thing, kissing your own butt, not necessary. The goal is to at least have this mobility in the hips and the spine to get you to touch the floor. If you're here, there's probably a little bit of work to be done. And there's a lot of different people, you might be able to sit on the floor, reach there, stand up, not reach. We've got to play around with it, and sometimes it's the head that blocks. There are so many things that we need to do to help the body gain flexibility. My preference is to have a little wiggle and not sit for too long. The sitting is really not good for anything in our hips. Hope that was helpful. Thank you for the suggestion. Please let me know any other suggestions, and I'm happy to do my best. Go forth and stretch. Cheers. Bye.